everyone, welcome to School of Scarlett. I'm so happy to have you here today. So today we're going to be talking about Princess Diana. Why am I talking about Princess Diana? Well, I want to bring you a little bit more casual topics that I particularly want to talk about. But this topic is something that for some reason, for a very long time, has been something that's always perplexed my mind. And now I have a great understanding of it, so I really want to share it with y'all. Princess Diana, for whatever reason, has always been, for whatever reason, like I say, I don't know why, a character that has always come forth in my mind. I don't understand it. And it's something that I get an image of quite often of Princess Diana, but while she was alive and even while she passed and even after her death, I have never really known her story very well. I was never like a big fan or fanatic of the monarchy or anything that's happening with the royal family or any of that stuff. It didn't ever capture my attention. So I didn't really know a whole lot about it. And then once the queen passed, it kind of brought it forth again. This whole thing with Princess Diana coming into my field, I guess you could call it. And I'm trying to understand why Princess Diana was such an influential figure in our world, why so many people mourned her death, and why her death still to this day remains a very soft spot for a lot of people, and a lot of people have large amounts of love for her. She's really made an impact in a lot of people's lives. So I want to explore Princess Diana with you, explore her energy, who she was here on this earth, what did she do, and also what did she come here to transmute? What really happened in her journey? So stay with me to the very end so that we can really explore Princess Diana and what this really means. The other portion of it was, again, I mentioned that a lot of this came forth again once the queen passed away. When the queen passed away, again, I didn't have a great understanding of their biographies, their histories, any of this, but I could see that this was a figure that was very, very important for people. And so I'll kind of be transitioning a little bit into the queen, but this talk is specifically about Princess Diana and what that means for us. And believe it or not, Princess Diana, I believe, brought forth an energy that is within all of us, so we can all relate to this, which is why she impacted so many people's lives and so many people feel a connection to her even without even knowing her. Like, I don't know a lot about her, and now I have done my research about her, and I can share what my understanding is. So I will be talking about that in this video. This video is more of a casual style, kind of going into my mind and going down that whole rabbit hole and turning it around back to you. So Princess Diana, she really was in situations throughout her life, we could say, that it just didn't seem like she belonged where she was, right? So she kind of brought forth this energy that why are we attempting to belong somewhere we don't fit? And at some point she got fed up enough to really get out of this whole thing. But really, we can see her journey as this painful journey of someone that's really in a situation where they just don't belong. Okay, and she definitely was meant to be the princess, so don't get me wrong. Her expression on this earth, the archetype that she brought forth, she clearly did that very well. And so we have to give her credit there, but her journey, what we can learn from it and what we can see from it looking from the outside in, is that her situation was oftentimes being put in situations where she just did not belong, or it wasn't allowing her the freedom to be who she authentically was. And so because of that, that painful journey was actually exposed in the way that even people on the outside could see it. The public could see this for once. So while there's been many emotional princesses and queens and things in the past, most of them were very angry in ways that they really hurt people. Princess Diana was in a journey that was very focused internally. So she experienced a lot of internal reflection, okay? She showed us a side of her emotions that many of us had never seen. We hadn't seen such an emotional roller coaster of someone that was very loving one day, very shy, very depressed sometimes. She even had an eating disorder, even things as getting as low as feeling the way to hurt oneself. Even doing that through eating is one way of doing it. But anyhow, she definitely fought these mental health issues, which in turn really aren't really issues. She was putting forth her emotions to this world, showing us the truth of being in these situations, really being that person that brings something forth for us to be able to witness it and be able to witness it in our own lives. So through seeing her emotional journey in life, that allows us to reflect on ours, you see, because the psyche is very close to things until we are opened up by observing or having our heart opened by another. And so Princess Diana showed this to us. Now, she was a feminine princess. She was a princess that, you know, many people at that time, I can remember even in the 90s and early 2000s, that's around the time that I was a teenager. And so in the later 90s. And so at that time, it was really popular to want to be the princess. There was actually a lot of things that had the word princess written on them. So I remember back then you could get like a license plate like thing, and it would say princess. There was t-shirts and little shirts that girls would wear and would say princess. There was the pants with on the bottom on your backside would say princess, and princess bracelets, princess chokers, all kinds of things would say princess. Now, consider now, we don't really see anything with princess on it anymore. We see a little bit more of the queen. If you've noticed, we've seen some t-shirts and things saying, I'm the queen and he's the king, or, you know, that she is the queen. We see a lot of the queen things. And we're even starting to transition out of the queen into more of the goddess or some sort of goddess type of archetype now. So the princesses has been fading. And I would say that even though there are monarchies and things in other countries and things, Princess Diana really came to transmute the princess and kind of begin to shift that archetype out of our reality. See, life is always changing. Our reality is always changing. So many of the people that you consider to be influential leaders in our history, or even celebrities, people that have done some sort of impact on our world, if we really examine them, they came here to transmute an archetype, to change something or bring light to something that we want to transmute that darkness back into light. So the princess for the longest time was really seen as this character that was kind of shy, that was kind of this damsel in distress, you know, really was looking for that knight to protect her, that prince to marry her. She was very dainty, really didn't speak a lot of her mind or emotions. She was more into the beauty of things. And this archetype is almost, like I say, comparable to the damsel in that she really depends solely on the king, or I'm not the king, on the prince or the knight or whatever it happens to be in the story, for her security, for her well-being. And you see, this sort of scenario cannot happen. This is not feasible for our reality and what we really truly are. We can't give our power to another being to that level. And so the princess for the longest of times had been doing this. And it was totally natural. These are just things that evolve in our consciousness, but now they're evolving out. And so you see, the princess can't survive, especially not now, because there is no more, those sorts of damsel in distress situations are no more. Women are coming into their power, are able to take care of themselves, are not looking for someone else to be their savior or anything like that. That has totally changed in our society. So the archetype of the princess is starting to leave. And I believe that Princess Diana was the one that came and transmuted that. Because we see her coming into the role of princess in kind of traditional, but maybe more relatable ways. And that was probably important, that she came in as a commoner to being the princess, because that would already allow the majority of the world to already connect with her, see that it is possible to become the princess as this commoner. And then when she takes the role of the princess, it's seen that she is clearly the princess. She is beautiful. She's well-spoken, she's soft-spoken, she's embodying the princess role quite well. But what we see happening is that she's kind of put into that cage, because that archetype of the feminine princess has always been kept up in, let's say, Rapunzel up in the tower. The princess kept hidden in the castle, really far away from where any prince or suitors or anyone could get to her. She was always kept away, kind of caged away in protection. And so we begin to see that this is happening with Princess Diana. And Princess Diana is kind of resisting this. She's wanting her freedom. And she's also not feeling loved, right? We see the dynamics of her relationship play out that are, we see some indiscretions from her husband, right? And for a lot of women, this is very relatable. So again, this is a piece where it's uniting a lot of women, a lot of people to what's happening here, to bring light, to bring attention to what is happening to this princess. And then we begin to see that this princess is crying out for help, has all of these issues. Her emotional life is out for the open, and we begin to see that she has all of these things. She's happy, but then she's depressed. She's, has an eating disorder. She's struggling with these things within her marriage, the monarchy and the control there. There's just so many things. And everybody's witnessing this. And we are not of the monarchy, right? We aren't royal family. But we relate to this because the story is a human story. It's not a story that only happens to the princess. You see, we all have some aspects of the princess within us. And at some point we have to transmute that. We have to kind of get out of that reality. For a lot of people, they're no longer going into that mode anymore. Like I say, a lot of young people now are going straight into their independence, and they're not seeking any of these kind of princess behaviors of giving their power to a masculine figure. Let's just put it that way. Or a monarchy or some kind of institution that supposedly is giving you security. So this is all being transmuted now, but as we see with Princess Diana, this played out for us to see. And so we begin to see how even though they eventually take her title away from her, the princess title, we begin to see that even though they strip her of this title and take so much away from her, she still remains a princess. People don't need to have that title. People don't need anything when they can see the true you. And they begin to see the true Princess Diana as she begins to emerge. She begins to be with people that are seen as untouchables at that time. Can you imagine at that time being around people with AIDS? That was not common at all. She was with these people, helping these people. And even through her pain, she was there. And so we begin to see her in Africa, really spending a lot of time with these children. We begin to see her as the mother and seeing her gain strength from being the mother, to gain resilience from this. We begin to see her start dating. We begin to see her start dancing, to dressing more provocatively, to opening herself up more, which the monarchy didn't like. And this is when they started to strip her title. We begin to see her flourish as the divine feminine. When the divine feminine begins to flourish, many people come to close that down. Have you noticed that? So what we're coming into here now in our reality, is the divine feminine is rising. And this all started with Princess Diana and many things that we've been talking about. I even mentioned Elvis a while back. So Princess Diana brings an energy of empowerment to women, not an energy of seeking or needing a savior, a knight in shining armor. That is no more. So our world evolves, okay? History evolves. Even if we take out our history books, even if we look at written history and everything, it evolves. And so things are evolving now, and you can see these masculine structures are beginning to fade. The monarchy is no longer really needed. It's very respected and people still love it, but it's no longer needed here. Those energies have now shifted. Even the queen is really going to be a thing of the past. Our last queen, the last queen we've seen embodied, did a great job of embodying the queen. I mean, literally, she did an amazing job of being the queen. Will we ever see someone that takes on that role, even at that young age that she did, take on that role so fully? Will we ever see that again? Probably not, and not in a way that's so public. There are other monarchies and things like that, but that is not, we're not seeing that. These things are now fading away. So even the queen is not really needed here. Many women are beginning to see that they don't need to be the queen either. These titles are leaving our society. These energies are leaving our society as more people become empowered by knowing their own divine heart and embodying their own divine selves. So Princess Diana really came to fight for her authenticity, to really show who she truly was and fight for that. And that was seen. And because she saw us and loved us and showed us love through all of these things, like being with people with AIDS, being with the people that were starving in Africa, and you know, all the things she had to go through with the royal family, and all of these things that we continue to see. Even she showed love through that. She embodied love through that, and we saw a princess that didn't need a prince anymore. We saw a queen that didn't need a king anymore. Do you know that the queen didn't even sleep in the same room as the king? And, you know, so we begin to see that we need a balance. It's not to say we don't need the masculine, not at all. But we begin to see the power returning all to the being, to each being. Each being is sovereign. No being should pawn off or give out their power or energy, because we are just energy, to any other. Otherwise, it is extremely painful, and that is what Princess Diana came to show us. And that is what I try to reflect in these videos as well. So she was one of the most perfect reflections of the princess really coming into her power. So that is what she came to do. And I always wondered, why was she so special, or what was it that people still to this day like love her? And so many people tuned in to her funeral, you know, and you know, all of this. So it's just quite fascinating, the characters in our life and those that come forth in our mind. For me, that's Princess Diana. And I never really knew why, again, because I didn't really know much about her. But there was a reason why. She comes forth probably for most feminine people, most feminine figures. Why? Because she's showing us, even if it's just energetically, that we are sovereign beings. We do not need to lend our power to the royal family, to a man, to anyone. We must be authentic to ourselves. We must serve others in a loving and caring way. And in doing so, that will reflect to everyone our love, and we will be seen. They will be seen. It's all love. And when we show love to others, we can be loved. It's all one cycle. It's all happening at once. It's all connected here. So when we tap into this, we really began to know that love is all there is. And many of these characters that we so love in this world, we love them because they embodied love. So what can you do today to share love with others and embody love within yourself? I ask that you go out in this world and you be that authentic self that you are. And you sprinkle some of that awesomeness on someone else, and let them be authentic. Show them that side of you so that they can be that for themselves. So I hope that this discussion was interesting to you. I really wanted to just kind of talk about this. I know it's a little bit kind of random, but I think it definitely does tie in with everything that we talk about here. So thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please share it with others, and I love you all.